How has the last 2 years gone for you?
The last 2 years have been pretty good, actually. Nobody wants to hear this, but the pandemic is one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
Hello, welcome to this very interesting episode of a podcast where myself, Jason's on the line here. There he is. Look at him.
Can you look at me on a podcast?
Well, if you're watching on YouTube podcast part of it, then yeah, we can see you.
All right. Well, if you can't, I'm an American.
He's wearing a blue shirt with a buffalo on it.
Go Bills.
There you go. And I talked to my friend who is a germaphobe. His name is Josh Obadia. I made a show about him called The Germ Show. It was like a reality show about his life a while back. And he's just a really interesting guy, one of my best friends. And his perspective on, what happened to him and his life during the pandemic and his kind of thoughts around it, being a germaphobe and kind of everyone, the whole world becoming him now, essentially in some form. And now it's been 2 years of it, and see where his perspective lies. It's very interesting. Range of different topics within the pandemic that we kind of touched upon, and parts of it are in our 2022 American vs. Canadian self-isolation video that we just took a snippet of it, but the full conversation was too good to keep it to ourselves. So Jason, this is the first time you'll hear it too.
I'm looking forward to it. I love Josh. I love the germ. He's great.
He is great. We had him over last night for the Super Bowl. He was here.
Oh, he was there.
He actually came. He that's part of his new outlook on life is he's gonna do whatever he wants,
Wow.
in a safe way, but like he's kind of turned a corner. It's very interesting. So, anyways, that's he was here, and here's what we talked about. We wanted to get your opinion on this because who better to know about viruses and germs than someone who's been avoiding it for much longer than most people. And that's you. You are a germaphobe.
Yes.
Explain.
What?
Explain.
What do you want me to explain? I mean, I've never enjoyed shaking hands with people. I don't like touching door handles or elevator buttons or light switches. Never liked riding the subway. These things are necessary in your day-to-day life, and if you want to function. So I do them, but I don't enjoy doing them. I honestly can't remember the last time I shook someone's hand. It's been more than 2 years, I think. And now, I've been hearing things that even when things are back to normal, people still won't shake hands, which would be great because, like, if you think about it, it's such a weird custom. Like, you meet somebody, whether it's someone for the first time or someone you've known forever, and you shake their hand. Like, why would you do that? Your hand and my hand are the dirtiest part of my body. Why would I want to touch yours?
It's so true.
Forget about it. I can just say hello, If I want to hug you, if it's someone I really like, then maybe I'll give you a hug. But, like, why would I shake your hand? It's so weird.
Yeah. How has the last 2 years gone for you?
Nobody wants to hear this, but the pandemic is one of the best things that's ever happened to me. I'll tell you why. For one thing, I've been working from home ever since, which is fantastic because I don't have to take the subway or go out in the cold during the winter. I can work in my pajamas often, which is great. I can wake up later, which is great. Saving money because I'm not going to the food court every day. And I still get all my work done. In fact, I'm more productive now because I don't have people walking by my desk every 2 minutes, bugging me about something. So working from home has been great. I mean, the only thing that I haven't been able to do that I was able to do before is play hockey. Other than that, I'm still able to do everything else that I wanted to do. So I've been invited to some weddings and bar mitzvahs that I normally would not want to go to, and I didn't have to go because I had a built-in excuse. I can't go to your wedding. I can't go to your bar mitzvah because, we're not allowed to gather. So I guess I'll just have to watch it from my couch on my computer in my pajamas, and I don't have to put on a suit and tie, and I don't have to drive to the wedding, and don't have to look for parking. It's amazing.
It's the little things that eat at you, right? That's kind of who you are?
Yeah, listen, I notice the little things that people don't notice. So just my quality of life has been better. So, now if I want to at lunchtime go for a run or play tennis, I can do that. I couldn't do that at lunchtime if I was at the office. Oh, my doctor appointments. Now my doctor appointments are all over the phone. I don't have to go to the hospital or the doctor's office. It's great. because then you're in the waiting room for God knows how long. If you're driving there, you have to pay for parking. If you're taking public transit, you have to pay for that. Or if you're taking an Uber, you have to pay for that. So now the phone rings, you talk for 10 minutes, and it's over.
Why wasn't this just what it was before? Like, there's a lot of little things like that. Today, you went into the bulk barn, and you scoop anything you want from anywhere. The scoops
I don't know how sanitary that is.
But so when you walk in, there's like a station there, like you must wear gloves or sanitize your hands. This is a place where that should have been the norm, regardless of pandemic or not, right? Like
100%.
Think about this.
Like all these businesses, like for example, public transportation, they tell you how they clean the subway, every night, so that the next day when you get you weren't cleaning it before. I'm sure they weren't cleaning it before, because I could tell that they weren't cleaning it before. And door handles and elevator buttons, no one was ever cleaning door handles and elevator buttons before, but they should have.
So there's lots of things that you are liking that's come out of this, right? You did tell me when I mentioned to you I wanted to talk to you that you have a completely different outlook from the beginning of the pandemic to where you are now.
When it first started, I basically locked myself into my apartment and I didn't leave. I was afraid to go out the door. I was afraid to see people. I would never invite anybody over. I wouldn't go to anybody's house. But now I don't care anymore, because now we've seen how many different variants have there been and how many more variants are there going to be. Look, I'm triple vaccinated. I wear a mask when I'm indoors in public. I'm not locking myself into my apartment anymore. If I want to do something like go play tennis, I'm going to go do it. If I want to go to a movie, I'm going to go. If I want to go to a restaurant, I'm just going to go. I'm not going to be reckless, obviously. I follow all the rules, but I'm just going to do the things that I want to do. I'm not going to waste my time, because what's going to happen? So this variant is going to be under control in 6 months or whatever, and then a new one's going to come. So then there's going to be more lockdowns. It's an endless thing. Like, if you think back 10 years ago when you had a cold or a cough, what did you do? You might have missed a day or two of work, and then you went back to work after that. Like, you didn't quarantine for 14 days. Obviously this virus is maybe more lethal than the common cold, although people have died from the common cold also. But yeah, I'm just going to do what I want to do, because what's the point? Maybe I can live another 100 years, right? But if I have to live those 100 years locked in my apartment, what good is that? I'd rather live half that and enjoy it than live the full amount and not enjoy it.
The argument could be made is we sacrifice for a couple years so that we can live the rest to the fullest without worry. You know what I mean? That's the pandemic.
I don't think this is going to go away. It's not like they can't tell you, another month or another 6 months or another year.
No, I think
nobody knows. And then, like I said, something new is going to come up.
I guess it's more so buying time so that we can figure out more about it and manage it and live with it better, as opposed to when it was so new, and it's still new. The more time we can get without people getting too sick to figure it out how to live with it, I think that's better, probably better. But yeah, I do agree in the grand scheme of it, where you just got to live at some point.
So this is another thing that it's not going to be a popular opinion, I don't think, but a lot of provinces have shut down public things, movie theaters, restaurants, workout gyms, stuff like that. So I don't agree with that. I think everything should stay open. If you want to go, then you go. If you don't want to go, then don't go. Leave it up to each person individually. They know the risks they're taking, and that's that. Now, I do think everyone should get vaccinated. I know there's people out there that haven't done it yet, and they should. So if you haven't done it, then you should stay home. You don't get to enjoy all the other things that we do, because we are vaccinated and you're not.
Yeah. No, I can agree with you on those fronts. So much deeper thinking of what it all means, and what implications of different things, the government putting these restrictions and stuff like that. One has you're oppressing the people. And I've heard a lot about it's a form of control, or you got to scare people, and then you have the control and all that. So I'm toying with I'm trying to argue in my own mind of what is right and wrong. At some points I think back to are these like maybe just Canada. I'm gonna go stick with Canadian people in politics, and like it's their job to like do the best for what they're being told by hopefully science. Hopefully it's what the science they're following what the scientists are saying and what the doctors are saying, right? Like that's what I hope, and that's what I would believe in. How much influence? Like how much is it like? Okay, but this is gonna help us gain power in some way. I don't know. I just think there's just so many weird. You can probably look real deep, but then like think to yourself, first, what is this person supposed to do? like what a terrible situation that they've been elected during. Like they didn't plan for that, but I guess they're gonna try to swing it in their corner to make them look better in some form. But so it's like I don't think there is a right answer in any of it.
Yeah, I mean, politicians will say anything to get reelected. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Most of the politicians in this country have elected to be very cautious, very strict, shutting things down. Which, at the beginning I agreed with that.
Me
now
too.
I don't agree with it so much, because especially now with this new variant, it's so easy to test positive. Like I haven't tested, but it's so easy to test positive because it's so much more contagious than the one before. But it's also not as dangerous as the one before, especially if you've been vaccinated. So now, you might get sick for a few days, but you'll be okay in the end.
Yeah. As you know, I got it. I did get it.
Yeah, that's right. You got it and you survived.
Yeah. Took a while
as for the politicians,
good,
I don't, you're right. There's no right answer, because half the people will agree with what they say and the other half won't. I mean, so what are you going to do? But yes, they'll say whatever they can just to get reelected. Yeah. And they have to appear to be looking out for everyone's health and safety.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm not a very political person at all. And
nor am I.
Right? So is it bad that I don't care? I almost don't want to hear the news because it just makes me sad.
I couldn't even tell you. You know how every day on the news they tell you how many new cases? I have no idea. I haven't looked at that in months. I couldn't tell you how many new cases there are today or yesterday or whatever. Yeah. So you're right. I don't care either.
And I'm thinking I don't know. I'm not in politics. My job doesn't revolve around politics. So I don't have the time or the care to really dig into it. You know what I mean? And understand it more than what it's at. And also, I don't really provide an opinion because it's not I haven't thought about it hard enough. I haven't looked into it hard enough to validate it for I don't feel good to say anything on either side because honestly, I'm not the person to judge because I don't know enough. So for me, it's just and generally I say, yeah, let's be healthy. It seems smart, whatever the doctors are going to say, overall. We have doctors in our family who I can easily go to and talk to and get their opinions too, which is nice. I have that luxury. And, they're siding with the general idea of get vaccinated, be safe. So other than that, that's what, if I'm going to say what the doctor says. If the doctor says, we need to give you this so your leg doesn't fall off, I'm not going to say, wait a second. What am I going to do? I'm just going to go with the expert because I'm not putting the time in to think about it. I don't have the time. I don't care to give the time.
Listen, most people are concerned about themselves and their immediate family, and that's it. You can only really control your own household.
Yeah.
You can't worry about the entire country. You can't worry about the entire province. You can't even worry about your next door neighbor. You can really only control your own household, and that's it. So, not everyone's going to agree. That's been like that since before we were born, and it's going to be like that forever.
Forever.
So whatever. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah. I think I'm just upset with people who are on either side too hard. But anyways, let's back up a bit. So basically everybody in the world became a germaphobe, right? And practiced germophobia. Is that a word? I don't know that term, right? Because that was what you were supposed to do to combat, especially early on, not knowing anything about it, about how this thing spreads. And, you know, it was exhausting. It was exhausting. My hands were just torn to shreds of washing them every second. And, you know, just the amount of things you got to remember to do and wash things down and wash your phone and to stay away. Like, it was exhausting. And like, this is the sorts of things you've been living for years.
Why do you think I've been so tired my whole life?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I've become that, and I still have a lot of that in me now more than ever, because of just we've been trained now to do this. And I will say one thing: I've stopped profusely washing my hands. like from this time last year, my hands were bloody and because it was just raw. But I just normal whatever I was normally doing to wash my hands. Maybe I've added some extra hand sanitizers throughout the day, like where I go after I leave somewhere or go into somewhere. But other than that, like my washing hands it's back to a normal amount for me. How about you?
No, I mean, I was always washing my hands multiple times a day, still doing that. You know, I don't always spend exactly 20 seconds doing it. Sometimes, depending on what it is, I'll just use water. I don't use soap every time. Yes, my hands are, you know, the skin is dry and rough, obviously. That happens to me every winter, so no surprise there.
It does happen to me too, but yeah.
You mentioned hand sanitizer. You know, you'll walk into a store and they make you use their hand sanitizer sometimes. And not all hand sanitizers are created equally. Some of them have this really awful, I don't know, what texture or feeling on your hand. And then you can't, like, you're supposed to just rub your hands and it dries up, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they have a scent that I really don't like. You know, like if you're going to force me to use it, at least get a good one.
Yeah, I agree with that. Totally agree with that. If you want to see something very interesting, is we did a reality show, pilot episode about Josh. Basically, it's called The Germ Show. And you will see firsthand, we'll follow him for a day, what his life is like. So we'll put the link in the description so you can take a look at that.
That was, I think 9 years ago we did that.
I know, that's crazy, right? Like that's insane.
Seems like just yesterday.
It does. Any final advice for people dealing with this now still?
I'm not the best person to give out advice. I would say that if you haven't gotten vaccinated, you should, because it will let you do the things that you want to do. Continue to wear a mask when you're indoors in public, and just don't be foolish. You know, do the things you want to do and don't be foolish.
And Josh, you have a podcast. Plug that real quick.
Sure. I do a podcast with my buddy Skip. It's got a very original title. It's called the Skip and Josh Podcast. So if you remember our names, you should be able to find it. It's available on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, all the streaming platforms. Really, you can find it anywhere. So sure, have a listen and leave your comments. Send us emails and let us know what you think.
It's great to talk to you. Thank you for listening, for watching. And don't forget, you can subscribe. You can watch some more here. Go listen to Josh's podcast. Lots of content. Whether you watch it or not, I'm still going to make it. Josh is probably still going to record his podcast because it's fun. We have fun. We're passionate. And that's what it's about. Find something you're passionate about. Don't worry about the negativity stuff. Just dig into, lean into the stuff you love as opposed to the negativity in the world. And maybe the stuff you love will become positive for more people. You know, there you go.
That's a good philosophy.
My advice. All right, thank you for listening. See you later.